Nephrotic syndrome is a group of symptoms that show that your kidneys are not functioning as properly as they should. The syndrome also causes your body to produce more protein in your urine than it should. The grave condition, which sometimes affects children, also is known as nephrosis. 3-year-old Michael Ashibi, unfortunately, has been affected by the disease, and life for the family has been torrid ever since. Today, we speak to the mother of little Michael to get more details about his predicament. Auntie Martha, Pacho, it's saying.
Pacho, you.
Na, na wote.
Pacho, so. Anchi daddy, Western region.
Okay. Oh, Emahi.
Me Pacho, me won kwa last test ma won. Nipa miensa. Baako almost any kidney. Na baako nso ayɛ te sɛ ɔnyɛ abnormal bi saa no. Ɛna baako nso ɔno enye kuro bi na ayɛ na ewu mu a na ne nan abɛho.
Ihu sɛ one wo ba na ɛte hɔ. Yɛfrɛ ne sɛn?
Mepakyɛw de Ashibi Michael.
Na mepakyɛw Michael edi mfian.
Mepakyɛw ɔbɛnya 4 years November wei mu.
Na mehu sɛ Michael n'anim ahoho, ne yɛfu nso aho. Ɛdɛn pɔtɛniyɛ no?
Mepakyɛw akwalaa no mewo no no. Ɛna ɛkyɛ kakra onya bɛyɛ sɛ 1 year kɔ no na ɔhyɛ aseɛ sɛ ɔhoho. Nti na yɛ anim ade korɔ saa tam na menyam me ba baako nkyɛn bi mu sɛ wɔnyam akwalaa no ntumi hoho saa. Nti maame de ne kɔ doctor wɔ hɔnom dadeɛ so. Ɛna doctor no hɔ ne di kraa sɛ me ba na kidney problem ne ha no. Nti ɛwɔ mu a ne akɔda hɔ ɛwɔ mu a ne akɔda hɔ nti ɛba kɛseɛ baako na doctor ne sɛ gye sɔ refer yɛ ma yɛkɔgyi. Confanoche Teaching Hospital. Nti yɛkɔgyi. Nti ɔmo gyi hɔ no na ɛhɔ nso ɔmo sign declare sɛ ne kidney.
Then problem kidney failure na sɛ then ankasa na doctor.
Mepakyɛw de ɔmo ka kyerɛ me sɛ kidney problem ba ɔmo ankyerɛkyerɛ mu ankyerɛ me sɛ ɛyɛ kidney anaasɛ sɛ.
Wowɔ doctor's report.
Doctor report na ɔmo maa me bi bae. Ahokyere bi bae maa bi ka sɛ ɔbɛboa me na mede krataa na edi adanseɛ sɛ mekɔ hɔ no. Ɛkɔyɛ me bae no manhu baabi a mede tooyɛ bae. Mewɔ Confanoche nduro na yɛkɔtɔɔyɛ no mewɔ bi wɔ hɔ a edi adanseɛ sɛ mede na akɔ hɔ. Papers ani bi wɔ hɔ edi adanseɛ sɛ mede na.
Oba no aside sɛ n'anim na n'anim ne ne yam na ho den biom na yɛ no.
N'anim ne last thing nyinaa tumi taataa kɛseɛ kyɛnse ɛne ne yɛfo nyinaa hyɛ na sɛbi kafra ne hwe a ne kɔte nyinaa ho no ntumi ndwonso yɛ sɛ ɔmo de rɔba to ne bɛɛma.
Nti that's how otimi dwonso sisia.
Mepakyɛw sese ne deɛ sɛ yare ne ba a ɔmo ayi rɔba ne deɛ ba yare ne ɛyɛ na aba ewu mu a na dwonso ne bia bɛntimi mba sɛ na esi sɛ nipa da sɛ ne bia dwonso no.
So far what spending bɛyɛ ahen ɛwɔ ɔba no.
Mepakyɛw sika yɛ spend deɛ mefa na sɛ bɛyɛ sɛ 70 million kɔ deɛ yɛ spend.
Na nti sika no munya fi hi ana munya fi hi.
Mepakyɛw sika ne deɛ ne papa yɛ ɔkɔ Bosnia. Ɔyɛ koko adwuma ɔtɔ koko ba because of first situation we ni nti ama esi akwa na adwuma asam ayɛ basa ɔde ka wɔ adwuma mu. Ɔkɔ adwuma ma ɔmo ma ni sika. Sɛ sika na ɛyɛ a oyi ma yɛde ɛhwɛ akwalaa no. Ɔkɔgye sika.
Na wankasa no adwuma bɛn ɛna woyɛ.
Nipa choma nkasa no na mitimi kofa niema ebeton enam we ni nti sesi a minister misika ni nyina hye menye adwuma bia.
Into Michael no co school. I mean before omu
Nipa choma
no oko school.
ni nti. But on starting school yare ni nti.
Into no side injury no then the doctors say ombetimi aya afa na yare no e was some ye no operation and now be fa injury
Nipa choma omo ka se omo de na to edo so nti 2 weeks bia ya mla check up. Ena no ena misika se mu nti ye ntimi nko. Ya ko ya check. Ena we no me sure say ombeba be ye no operation. By almost ombe no operation by yetimi ko ne ntentama na ombe be ye ntimi nko.
When was the last time Mama called hospital?
Yeah, hospital base you confirm your base and November when I intimate last month. Yeah. Last year no.
If I show Bano to Kata.
Mepa chon o kasa.
Michael, obey me as you make it.
Bisa wasama kasa. Why? Mama ni bisa wasam kasa. Oh, flow.
Michael.
I say yes.
Yes.
Sorry. It's saying.
Yeah.
The obi pesa oboa wa na o pesa o kache.
Mepa chon besa me kache nipa ne say. Michael nti sesi amaye ni hwe ni da so nyina asa. Nti mesre omo sadofo so omo mmoa me na menti me hwe me bai. Say you operation ko no omo bai ama me ba ne mo ato na menti omo mmoa me na yenti ne na akwara na na isi a me ni obia me nya dwuma me tuma afanti bi kwa dwuma so pass. Sadofo
I've been seeing the child. He's been coming for review and others.
Okay.
There was a day he was referred to Companoche for further management or to see a specialist based on his diagnosis, nephrotic syndrome. So we admitted for like 2 weeks. So after he was discharged, he was given a note to Companoche to see a specialist for further treatment. The first day he came with facial swelling, pseudo edema of the abdomen everywhere. So we ran the test, we checked the BP. The BP was high. The mother has a baby, about 3 months old. And finances is difficult for them.
Would you know, if you don't know the extent of the damage, if it's 1 or 2 kidneys?
Either 1 or 2, I can't tell, unless you had the ultrasound scan, which very well, they did it at Companoche, but he's been coming for reviews. When it's March, they will send them back to Companoche.
So we have with us Dr. Mensa Amwa, who is a physician specialist and a nephrology fellow at the renal unit of the Kolibu Teaching Hospital. So we've been hearing from Michael and we've spoken to his mother, but Doc will give us more insight about what exactly this disease is.
Nephrotic syndrome is one of the conditions that can affect the kidney and is potentially treatable. Usually what happens is that the kidney loses a lot of protein through the kidneys, and once the protein is being lost to the kidneys, the amount of protein that's also in the blood also goes down. So the person will be losing more protein through the kidneys and then low proteins in the blood. When that happens, the body is not able to hold water within the blood vessels, and it leaks a lot of water into the body tissues, which then the body gets swollen. So most patients who have nephrotic syndrome, they will come in with generalized body swelling. So their face may be swollen, their legs may be swollen, their tummy will be swollen. And one of the things that also show in their labs is that they may also have very high cholesterol in the blood. If it's left untreated over time, this condition can lead to kidney failure. So apart from swelling, sometimes they will also notice that when they pass urine, urine usually forms a little bit of foam, but in this situation, because there's too much protein in the urine, when you pass the urine is forming too much foam. So that's one of the things that they will notice, that changes in their urine. Sometimes if it goes on for a long time, the urine quantity that they are passing gradually decreases. At that point, that when maybe kidney failure may have set in as well. There are so many causes, some of it which is usually due to your immune system problem, and then we have others which are also due to other diseases, some from medications and all that. So there are some that you cannot say that this is the cause of it. It's more or less like your immune system get confused and it cause some damage to your kidneys. The kidney is like a sieve, okay, and the sieve has some various sizes that allow certain things through it, and part of the sieve may get damaged and allow the proteins, which are usually heavier, to go through the kidneys, and then it's lost through into the urine. So in Michael's case, it's one of the immune problems that can happen in childhood, and the common one we call it minimal change disease. It can potentially happen to anyone. More or less you can say an act of nature. The majority of them, usually they respond very well to our first line medication that we use for them, and majority are likely to do well if it's treated. For childhood nephrotic syndrome, more or less it's like any other chronic condition. So even if you respond to the initial treatment, you will need to be followed up. So that means that for the rest of your life, you will need to see a kidney specialist or some other specialist who knows how to treat these conditions. So his condition is most likely, and I'm sure it probably gotten worse in terms of the body swelling. And when you have a lot of those swellings, you are predisposed to getting infections. You are at risk of developing blood clots within the veins, which if care is not taken can go into your lungs, cause breathing difficulty, and then the child can lose his life. Apart from that, because you keep losing proteins through the kidneys, those proteins can cause damage to the kidney itself. It can result in kidney failure, whereby as little as it is, can result in kidney failure, which means that the person may now require dialysis. He may need some water pills to try and help him to get the water which is in the body to come out, call it lases. And most of maybe their costs will be in the laboratory tests, which usually we do it frequently. Sometimes we do it like early as every week or every 2 weeks. That is the part that may take a bit of money. I cannot put a figure to it, but averagely, if you're looking at maybe in a month, they may need about 1,000 Ghana cedis, give or take, depending on what you are looking at. They to cover all his medications and his investigations.
Looking at a 1 year period, give or take, and say 1,000 cedis per month, it means you are looking at between 10,000 to about 12,000.
But maybe higher or lower depending on how his progress goes and whether he will need a biopsy or not.
We've heard Michael's story, and now we've heard Dr. Amwa telling us more about the disease. We now know how bad the situation is and how much Michael needs your help. Please let's do our quota to save a life. My name is Wandami Hagan. and I'm reporting for Ghana Web TV.